Guys, Cody here again with Mercury Rising Astrology. It's that time of the week again where we go over the astrology for the week ahead. And luckily, this week we get a little bit more forward momentum. Jupiter is already direct, and this week Mars will station direct in Cancer for what felt like forever in retrograde. I'm in a Mars-ruled perfection year, so Mars is my time lord, and this transit has been particularly personal. Yeah, it's been the sluggishness is real. So if you feel like you've been in an emotional rut or you feel like you're struggling to get motivated, that might start to take a little bit of a turn this week as Mars stations direct. It'll be kind of a slow process. Mars will take a minute to speed back up, so it's kind of like a slow build. But he will be moving direct, so just be patient during that process. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Venus will be stationing retrograde. So yet another planet going retrograde. Get ready for themes around relationships, love, self-worth, desire, pleasure, money, to be revisited and demand your attention in a way that may not have been so over the last few weeks. With Venus in Aries, it's not subtle. She's bold, she's fast, she's direct and to the point. And on top of all this, we've got a new moon in Pisces, watery Pisces. It's going to bring dreamy new beginnings. It has a square to Jupiter, so make sure to stay grounded in reality. And there's this dance between momentum and introspection this week, and so there's a lot of creative and relational shifts. There's all kinds of stuff happening. So let's get into the day by day and break it down for you. We start off the week on Monday, the 24th. We've got the moon in Capricorn opposing Mars, sextiling Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune, and then trining Uranus. So with the moon in Capricorn, we're kicking off the week with a kind of serious, goal-oriented, get shit done kind of vibe, especially after Mars's long retrograde. This day might feel like you're finally putting your foot on the gas a little bit, but there might be this feeling that, you're stuck in first gear. It takes a minute for Mars to speed back up, and with the moon in a earth sign ruled by Saturn, there's going to be some motivation and some movement forward, but it might not be as quick as you want it to be. So think of it like the first workout, back to the gym after a long break. It's like you're excited to be there, you're motivated, but it's going to take some getting used to. Your muscles aren't quite ready to, work out, and you might be a bit frustrated as you try to build back strength. That's kind of the vibe as we start the week off. The moon's opposition to Mars will highlight kind of a tension. You might feel torn between pushing forward and needing to be strategic. So there might be that tension there. You may be eager to make progress on any work kind of projects or personal projects, but hit some kind of emotional blocks with the Mars in Cancer. But as the day progresses, the moon will make supportive aspects to Mercury and Saturn, which can help you mentally organize your priorities and kind of get shit in order. Uranus will add a flash of insight or innovation. It's a harmonious trine, so expect some breakthroughs or some insights that kind of help shift your perspective a little bit. It's perfect for rethinking old strategies or for brainstorming new strategies. Some things that might happen today is you might get this burst of energy to tackle any kind of overdue tasks, but then realize that you need to ease into stuff to avoid the burnout. You might have an unexpected idea, or a solution might pop up that you least expect, during a casual chat or during something that you're really focused on. Just take it easy today to ease back into the productivity and have a plan moving forward. Organize your things, lean on your innovative ideas, and try to keep things moving as Mars starts to speed up a little bit. On Tuesday, we've got the moon moving into Aquarius, where it conjoins Pluto, bringing some intense themes. And then today we'll have Mercury conjoining Saturn in Pisces. So things are a little bit more serious today, especially with Mercury and Saturn meeting in Pisces and the moon hitting Pluto. Mercury and Saturn in Pisces is, it's trying to... Mercury in Pisces is very flowy and imaginative and creative, and Saturn, wants structure and wants discipline. And so this is like trying to fit a crazy piece of artwork into like a classical rigid frame. And so it's not the easiest combo. So, conversations might feel heavier, they might revolve around commitments or responsibilities or boundaries needing to be set. This will demand a blend of intuition and structure. And it could be a good day to, get real about your long-term goals. Like, how can you bring the creative, dreamy, romanticized version of your intellect and your mind into a practical, long-term, sustainable reality? So that's a kind of a Mercury and Saturn dynamic. With the moon in Aquarius, there's going to be this detached, objective kind of quality to the day, which is going to be at odds with the Mercury in Pisces. Pisces is very emotionally in tune, very embodied and mystical, whereas the moon in Aquarius is very like objective, detached, aloof from any kind of emotional undercurrents. So, and its early conjunction with Pluto might, bring intense insights or stir up subtle power plays or secrets or, you know, stuff from the unconscious that you haven't really been thinking about. You might realize hidden motivations or, you know, feel a little uneasy to start the day. Later, with the moon sextile to Venus and trine to Jupiter, this will lighten the mood a little bit, luckily, making some room for maybe a creative collaboration or social optimism. During the day to day, there might be a need to set deep like boundaries with a friend or coworker or somebody else that will shift the dynamic and how you relate. You might have a sudden insight into a project that's been feeling stuck, and you might need to find balance between responsibility and creative freedom, perhaps brainstorming through new ways to meet deadlines. Throughout the day, stay grounded in your responsibilities. Don't get too caught off guard or like off in la la land, but allow room for creative or intuitive insights to, seep into those grounded states and those responsibilities or duties that you have, and try to balance that discipline with inspiration. On Wednesday, February 6th, it's kind of a slow day. We've got the moon still in Aquarius. She will square Uranus and Taurus. So midweek brings a little bit of unpredictability. The planet Uranus is the planet of plot twists. And so he's here to shake things up, shake up routines. Maybe there's some tech issues or some last minute schedule changes or sudden bursts of inspiration that come out of left field. It might feel a little bit disruptive, but it's also a chance to break out of the staleness of any kind of routine or any kind of like boxes that you've put yourself into. So if things don't go too much as planned on Wednesday, just go with the flow, and it's probably, for a reason that stuff's getting shaken up or thrown off course. Like you might be hit with a random idea during that time that like shifts your perspective on a long-standing problem, or you might have to be forced to find a creative workaround to some kind of problem or disruption that Uranus brings up. And a spontaneous change of plans may lead to a new exciting opportunity that you wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise. Stay flexible and open. It's a good day to shake up your normal routine and do something a little bit different and expose yourself to fresh ideas. On Thursday, we've got a new moon in Pisces squaring Jupiter, very dreamy, wet, and watery. Throughout the day today as well, Mercury will sextile Uranus. The new moon in Pisces offers a moment to reset our intentions. That's what the new moon is. And with Pisces, it's all about creativity, healing, spiritual growth, emotions, intuition. And so it's about dreaming big and trusting your gut and embracing the unknown with Pisces. With Jupiter square to this lunation, be mindful because a square can bring some conflict or tension. And Jupiter's the ultimate hype man. It expands, it inflates. And so while he's encouraging you to expand and grow and, aim high, there might be a tendency to overcommit or overpromise, especially in Pisces, like not having a grounded sense of reality and what's going on, and maybe having big dreams and being fueled by Jupiter, and it's making them even bigger. But then oftentimes reality will set in and be like, okay, well, these big dreams need to be pared down to something that is still a dream, but something that's practical and achievable. With Mercury sextile to Uranus, this will add a spark of clarity, hopefully, amidst the dreamy fog of the new moon in Pisces. Mercury sextile to Uranus can bring like a flash of insight or some kind of creative brainstorming and allow you to connect the dots in ways that you maybe haven't considered before. During this time, you might feel inspired to like start a new creative project. You might also find yourself taking on more than you can chew, so be mindful of that. You might have a surprising insight during, meditation or a journaling kind of practice may shift your perspective or lead to some kind of insight that you hadn't seen before. Or you might even just pitch an ambitious idea or or have this grand plan that seems a bit overwhelming but needs some practical and pragmatic discipline to put into existence. Set intentions today that are both inspirational but yet practical, and dream big but know the limits. Like it's great to have these grand visions and to set these lofty goals, but we also need to do the nitty-gritty work of making sure that we can achieve those goals. On Friday, February 28th, coming off the new moon, we have the moon in Pisces trining Mars in Cancer, then conjoining Saturn, sextiling Uranus, and then conjoining Mercury. So quite a busy day for the moon. There's a feeling of steady progress today, though. With the moon trining Mars, this gives us the drive to take action, and the moon is our emotions. It's dreaming big in Pisces, and it's trining Mars in Cancer, which is another water sign, and Mars is our motivation. So it almost feels like that we're emotionally connected and emotionally aligned with how we're feeling, what we're dreaming, and what we're doing, and what we want to do. And so this is great because with the conjunction with Saturn as well, this emphasizes the discipline and the pragmatism in order to implement those, emotional, dreamy kind of goals and plans that we have. And Uranus will keep things interesting with introducing unexpected shifts, different kinds of insights, innovation, challenges that disrupt the status quo but bring us to a more progressive and a more advanced place. And with Mercury in the mix too, this will enhance our mental capabilities and our communication, and we might be able to express ourselves in a way that's more emotionally in tuned and emotionally smart and intellectual. This is a good moment that, a project you're working on that's been stalled or feels like it hasn't been getting the legs that it needs might get up and going. You might have a conversation with somebody that you love or a friend where you are revealing that your needs aren't met or their needs aren't met, and there's an ability to address that in a way that's proactive and with compassion and grace and empathy. And creative problem solving during this time can lead through unexpected breakthroughs and insights that can power you forward. Make sure today that you stabilize your plans, you pay attention to the subtle shifts in your relationships. That'll kind of be the tone and the barometer of some of the themes. They may be subtle, especially being in water signs. This is a great time. This week's a great time to reflect on, especially with all the water action, to reflect on Venus retrograde and what it might bring up for you, because she'll be stationing retrograde here soon. On Saturday, March 1st, we've got the moon in Aries, sextiling Pluto, conjoining Venus, and Venus is stationing retrograde. So here we go, Venus retrograde begins, and this isn't a gentle energy. Venus is in Aries, where she's a little uncomfortable. She's, ready to confront relational truths and balance independence versus dependence, desires versus diplomacy. These things will be faced head on with the Aries energies. Themes of self-worth, desire, and asserting your needs are going to be in the spotlight during this retrograde season. I did a whole video on Venus retrograde, so go check that out. I go house by house and explain what it means for your rising sign and what you can expect. With the moon in Aries, as this happens, it's going to amplify the intensity of Venus stationing retrograde. When a planet stations retrograde, it takes a pause in the sky, and it's thought that energy is very concentrated and potent. And so with the moon being the planet that disseminates all the planetary energies down to the earthly realm, the moon hitting Venus retrograde today is really going to amplify the themes of Venus. So keep an eye out for what comes up today, because that's going to be a foreshadow for what to expect over the rest of Venus retrograde. You might find emotional confrontation today leads through a breakthrough in understanding of your needs and other needs and how you relate to other people. You might feel compelled to reassess your goals, your values, your financial security, particularly in terms of how you relate to other people and within your relationships. And it's not uncommon for a past lover, an ex, or somebody from the past to come into your life and have to go over different themes or revisit some of those things that maybe you left hanging with them. During this time, avoid impulsive decisions. It's going to be hard, but take a moment, take a breath, and kind of align with yourself before making any big decisions, and reflect on what truly matters to you in relationships and your personal goals and your desires and how you achieve pleasure. On Sunday, March 2nd, We've got the Sun and Jupiter squaring each other, and we've got Mercury and Neptune conjoining. So quite an interesting day. The Sun Jupiter square brings a surge of confidence, perhaps, and optimism, but again, you might be overconfident or overcommittal. Overcommittal? You may make overcommitments. You may overcommit yourself. With the square tension, you might be a little bit more braggadocious or arrogant, so be mindful of that. With the moon in Aries sextiling Jupiter, I like this. There's going to be an enhanced sense of optimism, of being able to go after the things that you want to. With the moon in Aries, there's this drive to take bold action and take initiative. And that sextile to Jupiter will offer us opportunities to take advantage of that energy and maybe give us a buoyant optimism or a sense of confidence that we can achieve anything that we want. Then the moon will make a square to Mars, which could bring up some emotional conflict. Like maybe we had a bold plan and a bold idea, but it's not quite aligned with our emotional reaction or our emotional gut intuition. So there can be some tension between us taking action and how we feel about it. This might come up in relationships or with family members, so be mindful of that. Throughout the day today, we have Mercury conjoining Neptune as well, which can enhance creativity and imagination, but can also blur boundaries. So double check details and make sure that your communication, your speech, your ideas, your writing, your communication are grounded in reality, and that you're not forgetting something, because we want to avoid confusion with Mercury conjoining Neptune. You might find yourself ready to start a creative plan today, but then you find yourself getting overwhelmed by the details or confused, or things seem muddled. You might have, deep spiritual conversations with Mercury conjoining Neptune. And you might have emotional conflicts that arise, pushing you to assert your boundaries or to lean into expressing your needs and your wants and your desires from a emotional place. Like, what do you emotionally need to feel secure, and are you able to fight for that and go after that? And what kind of tension does that cause within your relationships and within other people, because other people are going to be doing the same thing. Overall today, explore your creative ideas, but stay grounded, stay here in reality. Double check the details to avoid any kind of overcommitments or misunderstandings, and lean into the creative, inspirational side of Mercury conjoining Neptune. And with the moon in Aries, take bold action over your dreams. Just make sure that, that they're congruent with reality and what it takes to actually achieve them. Overall, this week's about balancing momentum with reflection. With Mars direct, energy is slowly coming back, thankfully, but progress might feel a little bit slow to start or gradual at first. Just be patient with the process. Mars will get moving here soon, pretty quickly. So, we'll start to get some forward momentum. Venus retrograde in Aries will push you to confront some of your relational dynamics or your personal values, or how you find pleasure or express pleasure. So it's going to require a bold honesty, and it's going to be in your face. Maybe come up through conflicts or through an ex or somebody from your past coming in, or just relational disputes of any kind. So be mindful of that. And with the new moon in Pisces, it's encouraging us to set creative and spiritual intentions. But with Jupiter's square, it might tempt you to take a little bit, take on more than you can chew. So be mindful of that as well. Navigate this mix of forward motion and introspection with kind of a steady focus, and you'll feel a little bit more aligned by the end of the week. It's kind of got a lot of things happening this week in terms of elemental qualities. We've got a lot of fire, but we've got a lot of water too, and those things are at odds. So balancing that tension of your desires and asserting yourself and going after what you want with an emotional compassion and intuition and empathy is going to be key this week. So if you like this content, give me a like. If you feel the need to comment below and explain to me how these transits are unfolding for you, I'd love to hear. Helps me learn, helps other people learn. I love to hear from you guys how these transits affect you. And if you like this astrological content, make sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it'll keep you up to date. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.